Alright, I had just finished watching the Super Mario Brothers movie that was made sometime in the 80s and the early 90s, I think. It was the live action one with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Uh, I can say about two words to overall encompass this movie, and there's a lot of good examples, but let's just use this one. Why God? Seriously, this film has strayed completely off the beaten path of Mario. Completely. Let me sum up the story for you. This is kind of an alternate reality to some extent where the meteor that was supposed to have killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago didn't exactly kill the dinosaurs, no. It actually separated the dinosaurs into their own separate dimension. So as humanity rose on one side of the divide, on the other side, dinosaurs were evolving into what appears to be humans, which didn't make much sense. So, the story is that Mario and Luigi are Brooklyn inhabitants of obviously Italian descent, as Luigi's accent is pretty thick. And they encounter a student named Daisy who was who was digging up Manhattan for dinosaur bones. She was abducted by Koopas, which look exactly like people, and dragged to the other side. Because the King Koopa, aka Bowser, who was played by Dennis Hopper, wanted to actually get not just her, but the stone that she kept, that was her a gift from birth. And that stone has the power to merge the two worlds. So, in other words, he's not exactly content with his world and he wants to merge the other side of New York with his. So, in effect, let's compare this, shall we? This is the general Mario story. The Princess Peach gets abducted by Bowser to take over her kingdom, so Mario has to go through several worlds to save her and beat Bowser. Yeah, you see a difference? I sure as I sure as hell did. But the problem with it is that I don't think that Mario is very good when it roots itself into reality because it's not reality, obviously, but the whole point of it is it's not real. It's supposed to be something distant that we can accomplish. Basically, I think that I've noticed something similar to what's happening. Well, obviously Mario has not fallen prey to this because it obviously has stuck pretty close to what it is, and it just creates new separate realities, except without merging into our reality. But the Sonic games have actually strayed off the straight and narrow and Sega decided to create some other Sonic games that seem to be way too realistic, much more so than what Sonic is used to be. And because of that, Sonic has been going downhill. Sure, it's fine with those like Brawl or those Olympic Games thing. Nevertheless, games like Sonic Unleashed or the Sega Dreamcast 3D Sonic game, that was that kind of lost its fun as it kind of lost its innocence, as Mario still retained. So I think that probably eh, it could be said that the Super Mario Brothers movie is actually Super Mario Brothers having lost its innocence. And there was barely any elements that seemed to relate too much with the game itself. Obviously, there's the Mario Brothers, there are Bob-ombs, and there are Bullet Bills, etc. But the problem with it is that the rest don't seem to add up in comparison to the game. For example, here's a Goomba, and here's the Goomba in the movie, which looks exactly like some kind of dinosaur with a pituitary gland malfunction that caused the rest of its body to grow to an incredible size, and yet its head still remains incredibly tiny. Now, this isn't exactly clear, and you do see a difference. Also, I give this film an F for its knowledge in biology because, for example, the original king that came before King Koopa was turned into a fungus, and whenever they've referred to him being alive, they say somewhat. Yeah, check the Tree of Life. The fungus is on there. It's definitely a living thing, without a doubt. But overall, it's just the effects were pretty bad, and the dialogue is pretty bad, and it also seems incredibly samey. In fact, I just feel it's kind of difficult, especially since Mario is always the intelligible one, and basically is the one that's basically played most often. Whereas Luigi, who barely gets a spotlight except for Luigi's Mansion, is pretty much a blithering idiot, or intellectually incompetent. So there is great inequality, and I think I can add this up in there is this one flash animation on a website called College Humor where Luigi argues with Mario, and they talk about the Super Mario movie, and Mario grabs Luigi and says that never happened. Basically, it's kind of been washed up. It's not good at all. It doesn't relate to the game, period. The concept is actually quite dry. It seems to be a little less innocent. The jokes are incredibly overused. I'm kind of sick of the Mario handshake and how many times they've used it. Obviously, it's just annoyingly dumb. Plus plus their concepts are just incredibly messed up. And some elements seem to be annoying, especially the de-evolution machine where it actually says what you try to do. Plus their incredible insults of portraying people with substantial intelligence. Yeah, as you can see, this film is terrible. It had overall, it has nothing to do with the Mario series video games, period. And I'd just like to add up one thing. I think I've touched on it. I'm just going to portray how much innocence there is in this movie. Okay, Bowser's so-called wife stabs Yoshi in the shoulder, and Yoshi looks like a small T-Rex. But overall, that's not innocent. What is innocent is what we see in Mario Galaxy, where I have to actually collect all these little star candies and feed stars to give me things. You see, that's innocent. Whereas whereas the movie is not. It's too related to reality. It has so much elements that trying to make it very real and trying to make the film real. But overall, it's because of doing that, it's just terrible. And there's one inconsistency I didn't notice. Earlier in the film, in the tunnel leading up to the portal between the two dimensions, Daisy found bones of what looked like a dinosaur that's trying to evolve into a human, whereas it has the shorn face, opposable thumbs, etc. So obviously we're going to expect those things on the other side, though Bowser didn't exactly look like that. And then towards the end of the movie, when Bowser's so-called estranged wife fries herself, she actually turns out to have a human skeleton. So is she a human or is she a dinosaur? That doesn't make any sense. Overall, this movie was terrible. So we'll move on to the next movie to video game. I just thought I'd bring this up. See you later.